All right, now SABC News reporter Natasha Phiri is outside the residence of the late former Deputy President David Mabuza. This is in Bryanston. Good afternoon, Natasha. We understand that Minister Ronald Lamola is currently in the home of the late Deputy President, I suppose extending his condolences. But of course, he wears two hats. One as an official, he's a minister, but also most certainly as a Mpumalanga-born politician from Bushbuckridge, most certainly would have a greater relationship with the late Deputy President.
Definitely, Mfunda, and of course, just speaking about Minister Ronald Lamola, I mean, you would recall that, around 2023, I stand to be corrected, he had actually lauded the late former Deputy President David Mabuza for actually championing unity, Mfunda. At some point, he had said that Mabuza had foresight and understood that the ANC needs unity and that they need to do away with slate politics. Now, testament to that, Mfundo, is a clip that is going viral on X, where we saw the late former Deputy President David Mabuza speaking out against the demon of factionalism, saying that whatever slate he was a part of, or whatever side he actually chose, would actually always win within the ANC, but then realized that actually factionalism is wrong, entrenched factionalism within the ANC is wrong, and hence he spoke about unity. A lot of speakers have actually lauded the late Mabuza as a champion of unity, Mfundo. I'm also reminded when Lamola had actually said that the election of Didi Mabuza as a deputy president back then would be a catalyst that ensures that there's a break, from the old guard. Of course, like you've correctly cited, he is in the family home paying his respects, his support and condolences to the family, and then will come out and brief members of the media. We do understand, and we have been told by the family through Mabuza that the family will be traveling to Mpumalanga. It was supposed to be at 2 o'clock, but you could understand the delays because there are more officials that actually want to come and pay their respects. And behind me right now is Ronald Lamola. I don't know if we'll be able to, somewhat speak to him, Fundo, if we do have time, get his message of support and his condolences, and perhaps, his fond memories of the late Didi Mabuza, and this as he is coming to speak to us. Thank you so much for joining us on SABC News, Minister Lamola, and of course condolences. You come from the same province as Didi Mabuza. At some point you had lauded him for being a champion of unity, for his foresight and understanding that the ANC needs unity.
Yeah, indeed, he was one of those people that understood and loved the ANC, a mobilizer, a community builder, and obviously we had our own challenges, but those challenges with him also strengthened us. It has built resilience in us, but it's part of politics. So he indeed lived a life as a congressman, and as we have said, in the province of Mpumalanga, he has left a legacy. In the University of Mpumalanga, his processes that he participated in, the Mbombela Stadium. There are many other catalytic projects across the province, boarding schools for farm children. But he was also very close with the ANC Youth League and liked to work with young people in the province and understood the plight of many people. And ourselves, we also crossed paths with him when I went to Mpumalanga from the Investor Vendor as a leader of the ANC Youth League and also the Young Communist League. So indeed, we have lost a great South African, and we have conveyed our message of condolences to the family.
Mm-hmm. You also at some point, when he was elected as Deputy President, had said that his election would ensure that there's a break from the old guard.
Yeah, indeed, it was a generational transition that we had hoped will move further, because the ANC does need intergenerational mix, generational confluence, which I thought it brought that during that elections in Nazareth. But also he stands to allow for unity to prevail in the structures. It's also what we need today for all of us to move beyond our own personal interests, to look into the future of the ANC, to look into the future of the country, and say can we really afford to be involved in a very bitter succession battle with the 40% that we have now going into 2027? So we need to open the engagement and be ANC just like he did, to allow a discussion that must enable us to emerge stronger in 2027, because it's clear simmering tensions are there, but we need to manage them, engage, and I think that is what he encouraged when he spoke about unity, for ANC structures to engage, to find each other, to find a middle ground.
Apart from that, what personally, as Ronald Lamola, have you learned from Didi Mabuza as umfana Bushback Ridge, and also perhaps the legacy and the relationship you two had?
Yeah, it was a relationship like a father and son. You will have challenges, ups and downs. It had its own ups and downs. We had disagreements, but we'll also agree. And I think those strengthened myself, but they also strengthened him. But he also appreciated the context from which I came from. So ngiyajabula ukuthi ngikhonile kuphila naye, sabonana, sabakhona. So ngasho ukuthi ebushi na indzawo tabu game Mpumalanga yonke balahlekelwe ene singasho ukuthi bantwana labafunze etikolweni tema boarding school eMkhondo, Peter Dief, Emelo, kunetikolo letiningi leti attackile ene kunebantwana la today bangama engineer bangama artisans baphuma lapho kuletikolo. So njengomuntu lophuma eMpumalanga nami ngisithuthi kubo bonke abantu egame ensikazi emjindi la bekahlala khona ukuthi sisithuthu akwehlanga lokungehlanga.
Minister, on that note, thank you so much. Of course, Mfundo, and of course to our viewers, just details, this interview just details the relationship, the kind of relationship, the nature of the relationship that Ronald Lamola actually had with the late former Deputy President David Mabuza. And of course, he touches on a very also important topic there, the issue of education, the lasting legacy that he actually left in Mpumalanga. Mfundo, it's no secret that, Ubab Mabuza was a teacher. He was passionate about issues around education, and that was also echoed through the likes of the Deputy Minister of Basic Education, Regina Mhlaule, building multiple schools in and around the province of Mpumalanga. So these are just some of the sentiments that were actually echoed throughout the whole day. Not only a champion of unity, but also a people's person. Earlier on, we saw ACT President Ace Magashule, who also once served as the Free State Premier. And remember, there was that, Premier League that him, Supra Mahumapolo and Mabuza were also a part of, also just detailing that experience, also detailing, the issues that he had with his health as well. But of course, also he came to pay his respects to the man he was fond of, Mfundo. So these are just some of the sentiments that have come out of Bryanston, outside his family home. We're not so sure if the first Deputy Secretary General of the ANC, Ms. Nomvula Mokonyan, will still come here. But of course, the family also really needs to leave for Barberton, Mpumalanga, and that is when we expect officials, of the ANC and mourners to actually pay their respects to David Dabede Mabuza.
Thank you very much, Natasha, for that reportage and a very insightful interview there with Ronald Lamola as a son of Mpumalanga from Bushbuck Ridge, actually stating that he was quite fond of Bantu Basegeme, especially trying to draw in Mapulani and the Tsonga-speaking people, especially with the amalgamation of Kangwane, when we speak of the previous homelands, amalgamation of Kangwane as well as Kwandebele, making sure that there is unity in the province of Mpumalanga. That was SABC News reporter Natasha Phiri there in Bryanston at the residence of the late former Deputy President David Dabede Mabuza.